Hey, Love Your Life fam. It's Crystal and Andre Holland.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, looking forward to hearing from you. So to find us, you can check us out on
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Stitcher. We look forward to hearing from you all.
Yeah, we came a long way, and that's what the song say. And I can do all things. I can do all things. Yeah, I can do all things. Yeah.
Hey, Love Your Life family. Welcome back to another Loving Your Life podcast. It's your sis, Crystal.
What's going on, fam? It's your brother, Andre. We're back at you
with another discussion about loving your life. What is up, baby?
A whole lot. It has been real. For sure, man. Just, so much for us, obviously. 18-year wedding anniversary. That was, August the 3rd. So here we are. A lot has been going on. Still chugging ahead, business, work, and then obviously managing everything with our kids. So it's been a very busy few weeks.
Yes, indeed. October is a October, look at me, see? I tell you right there how real this month has been. August. I'm already in October. October, y'all.
It skipped
August.
over September.
I know it. I'm trying to get out of 2020, y'all. Let's get to 2021. But August has been real. It is a very, very full month for us. Birthdays, all of our sons, wedding anniversary, parents' wedding anniversary, back to school, lots of stuff. Quick heads up to you all. With all of the new stuff, the transitions going on, we're going to be back at y'all twice a week for now as we are adjusting to all of the changes. So we're excited to continue to bring some new content and conversation to you all. So we look forward. So continue to check us out. And as you know, hit us up any particular topics you all want us to discuss. We're open. Our Instagram page, and I'll leave that information at the end of this episode.
But it's even just listening to you, that really speaks to maturity for us.
Yes.
Kudos, because, the fact that it's been a very, very intense month already, and we're still not out of this month. Had some great time. And so I say maturity because we specifically took some time away to foster our marriage, just to get away so we can be focused just on us, which was cool. And then even maturity in managing it all, business, career, because in times past we would, just drive ourselves into the ground by staying up all times of the night, weeks on end. Whereas we're older now, more mature. And yes, business work still has to get done, and it was done. However, we definitely made time to steal away. And so as I hear you talking about it, it really speaks to the importance of taking time for self. We're not people that are just going to talk about it and not utilize or practice the same thing that we preach. And so I hear and have heard from you just the growth.
Yes.
It took some years for us to get to this point.
Absolutely. Because, as we continue to discuss, this is what loving your life looks like. It's knowing when to pull back. It's knowing when to examine your life, your schedule, assess it, identify what needs to be tabled, what needs to be picked up, what needs to be more of a priority, to maintain a level of balance within your particular household. And it's going to look different for every family. And so for us, it's definitely been a fruitful, very productive choice to pull back and make sure that we're maintaining balance in our own home.
For sure. And I think even knowing when to pivot, because sometimes it's not always tabling it or knowing when to push, but also knowing how to pivot, when to pivot, or make slight adjustments as you keep moving forward. And so I think for sure for us, I know for us, that maturity is we're doing a better job of pivoting, shifting, changing course or direction while simultaneously moving forward. So making slight adjustments as we're still going forward. That's been a very a huge aspect of our personal growth and professional growth.
Yes, indeed. So we are definitely just excited to be back conversing with you all. We have some upcoming things coming up that we will definitely share with you all to tune in. But definitely just, it's a lot right now. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're only halfway or a quarter through August.
3 quarters through August. That's for sure.
Man.
But it's been a lot. But for sure, it's been a good thing because it truly has allowed us to really, I want to stress this, because one of the things that you really frustrate me about, people sometimes or situations or even institutions, it's hypocrisy. And it's easy for people to talk about this and that, and they live a completely separate life. I want to stress, and we all fall short. It's not about perfection, but this is a part of who we are, and we're living it. We're not just talking about it; we're living it. And so, for us, again, when I say truly taking time, loving yourself, taking care of your health, your well-being, taking the time you need to be healthy, we are truly walking that out. And so I'm glad to be fully back, ready to go. And let's get into this tonight, babe. So check this out. I'm seeing it firsthand, and I'm just going to be honest with you, babe. I don't even know. Let me tell you this. It's not I don't even know. I'm 99.9% sure I could not do what you were doing. Obviously, as a business owner, but then even what's going on here at home. Virtual learning. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I think that says it all. So all across America, yeah. I'm sure the world at large, but specifically talking about here in America, virtual learning and what's taking place all across America as parents now are working from home or in addition to everything else that they've been doing,
yes,
they're teaching now. And so virtual learning, I'm wearing another hat.
Another hat.
And so for me, obviously going into the office for work, kudos to you, babe. Love you, appreciate you. I see your sacrifice. And I'm just going to be real with you. I don't believe I could do it. I think I'll be quick to say, guys, let's take a break. We're going to go swimming or go play basketball or something. But just to see 4 kids, 2 different school districts, 4 different age groups, class age groups, 4 different grade levels, and the constant bombardment of assignments, of technical challenges, computer glitches, computer failures, the internet crashing, logging back in, going to multiple different platforms to access curriculum, and then multiple forms of platforms to submit the curriculum to the teachers. I mean, it's just like nonstop, one thing after the other.
Yeah.
So hats off to you, babe. I want to definitely give a shout out and a hats off to these mothers, these fathers, husbands, wives who are doing the best that they can. Big ups to these single parents, man. Listen, because I'm telling you, like I'll get home from work sometimes at 5:00, and the first week of virtual learning, I was up to 10:00 with one of my sons helping with homework. And so I told him, I was like, listen, we're going to help you, support you all that we can, but definitely, I definitely have to see a more of a balance because he's not going to be able to maintain that pace. So kudos to the family members, all those that are doing the best they can. Virtual learning. I'm wearing another hat. Tell me what you think, babe.
I think a lot. It's sometimes it's like, where do I start? I want to kind of piggyback on what you said. The late night is really forcing us to continue to teach our own children balance, when to put it down, because one of our sons, it seems like he runs to us about 20 times a day. I need help with this. And son, go put the computer down, walk away from it. When to pull back, when to get that brain break, when to get the reset. The hard part is having multiple children. They don't realize, and it's innocent, they don't realize that when they exit the room, another sibling comes in. And so when I'm trying to run business and answer questions, here comes another kid. And I'm like, okay, give me just a second. But mom, I really need this, because they have no clue. Mom's had no break. And so just really knowing how to get up and to regulate my own emotions in the midst of it so that I don't stir them up and now they're all flustered and can't focus. So it's definitely being intentional, knowing, when to pull back, take a deep breath and tell them, hey, walk away from it right now. Let's go outside. And yes, it is hot out here right now, but I will take it just to
Yeah.
get away from the computer screen, because that's real right now. You go from bringing balance to your own household to minimize screen time to now it's excessive because of education is coming through the screen. And so it just goes back to not setting unrealistic expectations.
Yeah.
That has been so helpful, so that for them, they're not overwhelmed, because if I'm overwhelmed, it's going to overwhelm them. And they're already overwhelmed with the new system.
I do want to encourage the parents. I just really need to stress this. Listen, mothers, fathers, and wherever you are, your family makeup, do the best you can. Allow yourself that time for you to take care of you. And I'm really sincere, and I really mean this, because I've talked to quite a few parents and they're beating themselves up. Some of them are crying. They're frustrated. They feel they can't do it. Yeah. And so there definitely has to become a balance where you can do all that you can do, because the reality of it is, as parents, if you're not a trained educator, you're not going to teach like your child's regular teacher. And so at the end of the day, you have teachers go to school to become educators, to learn the art of teaching, or the pedagogy of instruction, the pedagogy of teaching, the pedagogy of education. And so I want to stress, listen, this is another hat that many parents across the nation are now wearing, on top of the other 15, 16 hats that they already were wearing. And so this extra hat is just another thing. And then, yes, our kids' education is important. I'm not minimizing it, but I do want to stress, at the end of the day, parents, talk to your teachers, make your children's teachers, make sure that there's some type of balance, some type of break, even in the midst of that schedule. Because at the end of the day, if mommy and daddy are so stressed out and they're not getting a reprieve, that doesn't stop when education is over. When school is out, then you with them the rest of the day. Dinner time, recreation, homework. So you have to build in a break time for you to get some peace. If that means you need to talk to your parents, your children's teachers, and say, listen, from 10 or 11, no one will be getting instruction.
Right.
I need you to pencil this break in for me. I'm not trying to tell you what to do as a parent. I'm just giving you some suggestions, but you have to make sure that you have some sane time for you. So I want to stress that. So kudos. I can't stress enough. Mad shout out to our parents who are putting it down, our single mothers, our single fathers, even, our single mothers with multiple children. Listen, mad props.
Yes.
I think this really speaks to your strength. But I want to stress this. Do not allow your strength to become your crutch, where someone say, oh, you so strong, and you just keep taking it on, and never really waking up or realizing that you can only handle so much.
Because it will catch up.
Correct. So I would encourage, one of the things, as we're talking about these parents, what if a group of parents in the midst of COVID-19 get together, those people they feel they can trust and they're comfortable with who they're around. One idea may be a group of parents to get together and they split up that time. We're doing instruction. One parent's taking the lead while the other one may be teaching a particular subject. And then the other one may be doing a craft or activity. And then they kind of do that rotation so that no one person is being burned out.
Well, I like that idea, but even if it's a rotation, just so that the parent can go get a brain break.
Yeah.
Can truly check out, and there's another adult that's supervising.
Correct.
To make sure that the kids are staying focused and on top of their task, and then answering the questions, and it gives you the ability to truly check out.
And that's the season that we're in.
Yeah.
That's the season we're in. Being able to adapt in as Bishop T.D. Jakes says, being able to adapt in what's the term he used? In unstable environments.
Yes.
Being able to adjust or adapt in unstable environments. I want to stress that is truly prophetic words. That's the season we in. Listen, there's so much change occurring. I mean, we're getting information by the hour at times, and we have to modify and adjust and adapt and change. So listen, I want to, take the time you need to adjust, reassess, and pivot as necessary.
Another thing I want to really touch on is just the value of educators. I truly believe that educators have been fighting for so many years to be treated better, definitely with their salaries. They make such an investment into our children with the amount of time that our children are there with them all day, and just the lack of value and respect. And now, in the midst of this crisis, I believe so many people are really seeing how valuable educators are. And they're now being, required to step up and do some stuff that they just don't make enough to do all that's required of them right now. And so parents, guardians, make sure that in the midst of it all that you're encouraging the educators, that you are showing gratitude for the work that they're doing. Nobody's perfect, so there will be some educators that may frustrate you and you think they should do things better. But if you're not doing your part to be part of the solution, but to contribute to more stress, to complain, go to God in prayer, because they're dealing with enough parents that are doing that. And I really want to convey that. They're dealing with, God only knows how many parents out of the day that are complaining about something that they're still trying to navigate through. So instead of contributing to the problem, identify how you can be part of the solution.
Well, and I think, again, it goes back to how you can be a part of the solution. Truly knowing your child, supporting them as best as you can, and then setting an environment of balance. Because if you have multiple kids, let's say like in our case,
right.
I mean, we have 4 children, 4 different grade levels, numerous subjects a day.
Yeah. And 2 of our kids are in an advanced program.
Right. And so you're home,
Man.
and I'm home at times, but the point is that is a lot of running back and forth and trying to teach, and you can only do so much. And so I say part of knowing your children, and talking with those educators, with respect, of course, really talking to them and say, hey, I know this is your schedule you have for your class or your school. This is what we're able to do. Again, I'm not trying to tell you what you have to do, what you should do, but just know as a parent, it's okay to convey what your capabilities are and the time that you do have. Because as a teacher, they may not be satisfied with what you're saying. However, any time is better than no time. And so as an educator, I'm an educator myself. I'd rather have 2 to 3 hours of instruction with my students versus not having any time.
I don't know what you call this, and I know it's something that you're helping me navigate through. When you had that conversation with me, I wrestle with it. And the reason I wrestle with it is because I sit and think about our 4, and obviously our family makeup and maturity of our older kids is there, and the support is there with them. But sometimes when I sit and think about going to a teacher and say, hey, this is what I can do, this is what I can't do, my mind automatically goes to, how does a teacher work through that if she has 30 kids and all these parents are saying, I can't work with your schedule, I can't work with your schedule. So my mind goes to, that would just add more stress to the educator. Not that I'm minimizing the stress in our own household, but again, it's just, I'm hardwired. That's how I just think like that's wrong.
And so you're hardwired, and I don't know what you label me, but I'm saying, I'm not saying that the teacher is going to have a specific individual schedule for our children. But what I'm saying is, I'm just giving a scenario.
Okay.
The teacher teaches reading at 9 a.m., math at 10 a.m., social studies at 11. Well, for us, I'm saying, you and I, babe.
Right.
And parents, you have to decide what's going to work for you. As far as I'm concerned, the reading and the math is a priority.
Right.
If they need to miss art, and then they'll miss that hour of art and then be back on for science.
And see, like in my mind, I'm like, oh, give them art because that's going to help them relax. That's right. More therapeutic.
So, correct. And so, but therapeutic can be like, we know our kids, what they like for art. So they still have an activity, but it's just unplugged. It's not online with the teacher.
Okay.
So no one is running around login problems. They're still doing art. They just unplugged.
Okay. I like that. Okay.
So I think, again, this is just an example. I'm not trying to tell every parent what to do, but there has to be a balance in your home.
Right.
Because I'm going to stress, your home is your first priority. You, your family, that is your first priority. Okay. Now, I understand you go to work. That is because it's a priority for your family, income. Mm-hmm. But your home is your first priority. So there has to be balance. There has to be order and peace in the home, because out of that, everything else flows. So if the home is chaotic, if it's a wreck, if it's all over the place, if you're running like crazy from sun up to sundown, right?
Right.
That's setting the atmosphere for relationships, for intimacy, for communication. I mean, it's really squashing all of that or keeping it from flourishing. And so as a parent, have those conversations. Think about, assess what your needs are, your children's needs are. Assess those things and have those conversations with their teachers, because at the end of the day, listen, I know women, you're strong. I know brothers, you're strong. Kudos, hats off. But at the end of the day, I just want to stress, we all have our limitations. We all have a capacity.
Right.
And once that capacity is reached, at some point, you're going to engage in diminishing returns. You're going to be doing a whole lot of output, but the return is decreasing. That's the law of diminishing returns. And so you have to know when you've given enough output, there is no more to give. Mm-hmm. And although you may try to give more and more and more, you're going to have diminishing returns. That's wisdom.
You know, it was funny, but it was true. The second day of the virtual learning, I was done. Like by the end of the day, and one of our sons came to me, had a question for his homework. And he said, "Hey, Mom," and he asked his questions. And I was just a blank stare. He said, "Did you hear me?" I said, "It was a glitch." I said, "It can't even go in." And he was like, "Mom." I said, "Baby, Mom has no more space. It's a glitch."
Like hard drive full.
Yes. And so he was like, "Oh, okay." But one thing that we were truly able to do, and I thank my baby, my boo, my husband for this. One particular night we were up and my husband had a late night at work. And so he comes in the room and our son is asking for help. And it's like after 9:00 at night. And he said, "Hold on." He called everybody in the room. He said, "Look at here now. My wife is your mama. We're running a business. She's your teacher. She's the tech support. She's the tutor. And it's after 9:30 at night, and you still asking her question." He said, "Y'all ain't going to take my wife out." He said, "Let it be known. Don't you come to my wife." What was he telling him? He was setting a boundary. Homework has to be done at a certain time. Not that there won't be times that we will have late nights, but this will not be a regular pattern in our life. And so it's, again, going back to the boundaries. And then it was bringing to light for our children to understand one adult is managing 4 kids at 4 different education levels with 4 different styles of learning. And so it helped me to really hear what he was listing off. I was like, oh my gosh. You know, so it was good for me to hear it out loud. I feel it, but to hear it out loud was like, whoa. And so that was great. And then for our older kids, we were now identifying, and I encourage parents to do this, identify their strengths. When they are off the clock, how they can help. If you have older kids, how they can help with the younger ones, because they're not so plugged in and all over the place like a parent rotating through the 4 kids. So tap into their strengths, not their weaknesses, or that's going to be another task. So identify their strengths and make it applicable to your particular family and circumstance to, again, bring balance. This is tapping into their strengths, helping them to thrive in their area so that they continue to become better at who they are and what they do.
And for sure, and I totally agree wholeheartedly. Listen, and again, people who know me, I'm the person that is going to go hard. Go hard in the paint. Don't give up. Don't quit. Work hard. So this is not giving anyone a pass to give up easy or to run away from responsibility. But at the end of the day, we have to make sure we understand that life, we're in this thing for the long haul. And you're not doing anyone any good if you go hard for a week or a couple of months and then you burn out.
Yeah.
You burn out and then you checked out for another 2-3 months. That's not doing anyone any good.
No.
That's more detrimental than good. So I want to stress it's about balance. Remember, life is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And you owe it to yourself, loving your life enough to take care of yourself so that you can be in this thing for the long run. And even as we talk about, the parents and all that they're doing, listen, huge shout out as well to our educators, and on behalf of, as a man, on behalf of fathers, on behalf of a nation, on behalf of anything that has taken place that was demeaning towards educators. Listen, I'm apologizing for our nation, because at the end of the day, teachers, educators, those people who service, sacrifice day in and day out, this is really the first time in I don't know how many years where we are truly understanding what teachers go through on a day-to-day basis, and the sacrifice and the labor and the level of skill and expertise and compassion and care that you exhibit. So for all these teachers across the states, across the United States, my hat's off to you. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your labor and all that you do, your dedication. Because the reality of it is, as parents who are not educators, we're feeling a small tidbit of what you go through on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for you.
Most definitely. One thing, obviously, I've been in the arena of education, but babe, what were some things that you would suggest that would help educators, different things to donate, to just continue to help in the arena? Because teachers go into their pocket for our children, and that they sacrifice so much.
Well, shoot, for now, honestly, listen, for those parents who want to donate to their children's school, Clorox wipes, hand sanitizer, masks, definitely little boxes where students can have their own individual, crayons, their own individual, supplies or materials. For those who may be going back to school in person, bet you can never get enough of that stuff. But I would encourage parents, hey, reach out to the educators, find out what they're in need of, because at the end of the day, they're human, they're mothers, they're fathers too. And some of the same concerns and fears and worries that you have, there are some educators have the same thing, and yet they're going in. So hats off to our educators. Listen, I truly believe we need to support one another as best we can. At the end of the day, we're going to get through this, but I want to stress it's going to take a multitude of people to raise a child. So unity, and it needs to be unity in action.
That's
where
good.
All the stakeholders come together and talk about what is best. And at the end of the day, parents, as for me and my house, you have a lot of authority where you are the authority in your house.
Mm-hmm.
And so please, this is not the time to not be paying attention to your child's education, to not be invested, checked in, understanding what's going on. Our children need your involvement, your input. And when you don't know, you don't know. Convey that. I don't know. Or I need support, or I need help. But again, I just really need to stress this. Virtual learning, and this another hat that parents are wearing. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you for all that you're doing. Listen, take some time for yourself. Do not get distracted. Do not get overwhelmed. Set your schedule that allows you a mental brain break. I'm talking to the parents now.
Yeah.
I'm not even talking to the kids.
Yeah.
I'm talking to the parents. And again, I do want to stress, especially our mothers, especially the women. Not taking anything away from men, but especially the women. You owe yourself a break. You owe yourself time for self daily. So if you need, again, schedule that where there's a pause in the middle of the instruction, not just for the kids, give the kids an activity they can do independent, something they can do independently. You take that 30 minutes or that hour a day to have a mental brain break. Because when school is over, moms especially, most of our children depend on you to help cook and clean. And I'm not saying men shouldn't. Yes, we should, and I do. But I want to stress, in a lot of our homes, the woman is doing a lot of these things. So when school is over, that doesn't end for mom. Now she's cooking, she's cleaning, she's doing homework. So
And if she works from home.
Right, running the business. I mean, there's so many facets of this thing. So take the time that you need. So listen, it's been real. We're excited to be back with you.
Yes.
We're practicing what we preach. So this small hiatus for us has truly been needed to get our house in order to adjust to this distance learning. Initially, it started off with taking time to celebrate our 18th year anniversary. Then we went right into 3 birthdays back to back. And then right after that, we went into distance or virtual learning.
Man.
So this has been real, but because we're taking care of ourselves in the midst of all these changes that are going on in the world, it was necessary. But we're back at you. You'll hear from us 2 days a week. So it's been real, babe. Tell them where they can check us out at.
Y'all know, check us out on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, and YouTube. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We will be back at you soon.
Peace.
Shout to the city that raised me. Shout to the people that made me. I'm from the 80s. I don't think mumbling wavy. I grew up black on a Jay-Z. Maybe I'm crazy. I ain't been wondering lately. Feel like it's there for the taking. Feel like I'm good with the changes. Know who I am. And that's the most dangerous state.
Hey, Love Your Life fam. It's Crystal and Andre Holland.
What's up, everybody?
Hey, looking forward to hearing from you. So to find us, you can check us out on
Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Stitcher. We look forward to hearing from you all.